Alright gang, welcome back to our investment challenge here on Riverview. It is now August. As I mentioned, we would be doing the rest of this harvest here in August, and we have... Whoa, easy. We have started that process now, and I did do a little bit more off camera. I'm sure you could probably tell if you're watching these back to back at least. I did do a little bit more off camera, not a ton, probably another, I don't know, 4 or 5 passes off camera. But we still have a good chunk of this field remaining that needs to be harvested. Now, as you recall, our goal with this field is to make it into a cornfield. Now, we're not going to be able to drill corn until April at the earliest. So we've got a long period of time before we're going to be able to do anything with this. So my goals really are, I'm going to end up putting in oilseed radish in here, just so we can get a first application of fertilizer done. That's a little bit more of the traditional way how a normal farmer would do it. So we're going to do that, and that way we'll be prepped and ready to go for when the time comes to put corn in. But we've got quite a ways before anything's really going to be utilized in this field. Now, I could put, obviously, canola back in here, or barley or wheat, but if we did that, we're not going to be able to harvest them again until around these months, which means we're going to miss the corn harvest, or the corn planting season. So we don't want to do that. So because of those reasons, this field is going to mostly sit kind of unoccupied, with the exception of the oilseed radish. But that's okay, man. That's something we really haven't done on FS25 yet, is put oilseed radish in. And I know a number of people have mentioned I should do that. And there's been many reasons why we haven't done that, but we absolutely should do it right now, since this is going to be a field that is sitting vacant for quite a while. So that's what we're going to do. That's our plan. Now, what I'm likely to do is put the oilseed radish in, direct drill it in right after. I'm not even going to worry about plowing it up. We're just going to directly drill it into the ground and get going that way. Oilseed radish we should be able to do all the way up until October. So even if we don't fully get it done in this episode or the next episode, whatever it may be, we've got a couple of months to play with there. So it's not too big of a deal. May not actually even start drilling it today. Really just depends on how long it takes us to do the rest of this field. And then a couple other things that I want to accomplish today. So we will see where we get to and make that decision then. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're all doing well. One thing I can state, and I'm actually kind of happy about, my work trip was canceled. So I mentioned this, I think it was in was it in yesterday's episode? I'm trying to remember. I've got, you know, I've mentioned this before. I do a lot of recordings kind of ahead of time. I may not have them all edited and put up on the channel for my members yet, but I do normally do a recording or two back to back, you know, that kind of situation. And I'm trying to recall if this one will come out after the most recent one tile challenge or not. There might be a survival challenge in between. I don't know, but either way, I mention it now. My work trip was canceled. As those of you that have been watching for a while know, I was going to see a client in the New York City based area. I was flying into Newark, which is New Jersey. I think they're technically actually in New Jersey, but it's like right on the line of New Jersey and New York City. But I really don't know anything about that area. I've never really been there. I've been to like Buffalo, New York and other parts of Newark, but I've never been to like actual New York City. But anyway, long story short, the airport itself is short-staffed, and they're decided that in the same period of time when they're short-staffed, they were going to repave, repave something, the runways, which means that a lot of flights are either being delayed by multiple hours for a long period of time, or they're just being canceled outright the day of. And so my client was telling us that maybe we should look to move to a different airport, you know, LaGuardia or JFK or something else, right? And we were looking at that, and it's going to cost like $1,500 a person to go there for like 3 days, and it's just, nobody's going to pay that. No, the client's not going to pay that. We're not going to pay that. I say we, as in like I own the business or something. No, the company I work for is not going to pay for that. Nothing like that, right? So we just decided to cancel it, delay it, and we'll go back probably sometime in June, I'm sure. So it's good and bad, right? Bad is that I've got another trip now for work planned in June, which is not really the most ideal. Because we do have a very, very small trip in June planned. My wife, myself, and my mom. Every year for Christmas and her birthday, she gets kind of a combo gift. She's a big baseball fan, and so we're trying to get her to all the different baseball stadiums in the United States, specifically. Obviously, Toronto has the stadium too, but so we're going to take her to a baseball stadium. So we have a small long weekend trip, just like 3 days, maybe 4, planned kind of towards the end of June. So we'll see what happens, but yeah. So it kind of butts up with that, which is not the most ideal situation for me on making videos. So I'm going to have to pump some out here in the next month or so to make sure that I have enough to cover both of those with the downtime where I won't have access to make videos. So nonetheless, we'll see how things go. But right now, we're good. We don't have anything planned for the rest of the month, which is great. June will be relatively busy because of those 2 reasons, and I have a training at work. It's like an on-site training. It's not not something I can do virtually. I wish I could do it virtually, but no, I have to go on-site, which means I have to go up to Toronto for that. So June's gonna be busy. June's gonna be busy for me. But yeah, hopefully you're all doing well. Hopefully you're not. I mean, maybe some people like to be that busy. I do to an extent, but this is getting a little extreme now. But hopefully you're not as busy as I am, or if you are, I guess, hopefully you're enjoying being that busy. Such is life, man. Such is life. So I don't know how much more we got of this field. It looked a decent amount, really. I don't know. Probably 1/3 of it left, something like that. Maybe a little bit less, I don't know. Somewhere around there. We're cruising along here. Now, one thing I did not look at, I want to look at really quick, is how much canola did we chew through? Not that much, about 3,500, something like that. We got 662 liters of canola oil, so we're not really chewing through the canola that fast, so I'm happy I only put that small amount in there. Well, I say small amount, it was still a good amount. It was 20-something thousand liters, but it will provide us with a little bit more money, so I think it's worth it, but I didn't want to go overboard, as I mentioned in the last episode. I'd like to sell a good chunk of this canola. We really could use the money right now, so we can continue to progress here. I love this harvester. Look how dirty it's gotten, just this small amount of harvesting it's had to do. Well, I say small amount of harvesting. This is a large field for the size of this harvester. I mean, a very, very large field. But it's gotten extremely dirty from just doing one field. I think this is probably my favorite smaller harvester. Pretty positive of that statement, at least. At least for now. Something else could come out, I guess, that I like better, but I do think this is my favorite one. So, we're going to continue doing the harvesting here. When that's all done, I've got a couple other minor plans. I don't think anything else is going to be ready today. Actually, the grass field is already ready again. That's crazy to me. The grass field is ready like every 2 episodes or every other episode. It's pretty crazy. Our small little field here is doing well. This field today, we're going to be putting in some wheat, right? Oh, no, we're not. It's next month. All right, I'm sorry. We already looked at that a minute ago, and I already misstated that. Barley and or wheat, one of the two. We're going in that field in the next month, so in September. We are going to plant that in that field that's been sitting kind of dormant up there. We said we were going to do, the oilseed radish up there. We did not do it because of how long it's been taking us to do this field. So I guess we can do it on this field instead, right? So, let's get the rest of this field done here, and we will see where we are as far as the time goes and what we need to do from there. And hopefully, we get a lot of canola out of the rest of this. We're going through some of the area right now that had some hail damage, right? So we've got a few more of those spots left. So quite a large field that had quite a large amount of hail damage, which is very unfortunate for us. I really didn't want to have as much hail damage as we did. I wanted to try to get as much money as possible, but I do still think we're going to produce quite a lot out of this field. All right, we're nearly done here, gang. We've got a couple more passes to make, but didn't take too long. About 20 minutes around that of actual real-life time. But I'll speed that up in a time-lapse. Obviously, you've already saw that at this point. Pretty good. We've got quite a lot of canola actually in our trailer over there. Now, that is a unrealistic trailer capacity. Mostly just to save me a little bit of time. But it's got almost 40,000 liters in there, I think. 36,000, something like that. I don't know. Something like that. 45,000. I was completely wrong. But that'll be a good chunk of change when it comes time to sell the canola. You know, it's not gonna. We're not gonna be selling it until November, right? So it's just gonna go into storage. But we should be okay, given the fact that we can mow the grass and everything else, right? We should be okay as far as money goes. I'm not too concerned about it. There is one thing I do want to put down. I've talked about it. I think in the last episode I talked about it a lot, maybe even the one before that. It's a generator of some sort, right, to help offset the price of the loan a little bit more until we're able to pay it down a little more. And that's really one of the main goals I'm going to try to achieve here with this canola harvest is trying to pay off some of that loan further. It feels like we're making progress, but we've got a long way to go, gang. We still have that loan to pay off, and we have to buy the largest of the 4 yards or farms, whatever you want to call them. That's $500,000 by itself right there. So now, one thing we could potentially do when we sell the canola, I don't know how much we're going to get out of the canola. I doubt we're going to get $500,000, but if we somehow do, we could potentially utilize that to buy the final farm, because there's a lot of buildings on there I don't need. I'm going to sell them, which means we're going to get some of that money back. So that might be the smart way to go about it. But we'll see how much money we get out of the canola, right? We're going to have other things to sell too, right? We've got other things that are being made in our production. You know, goat milk and wool for the clothes and things like that. And I've already talked about a couple of times that we need to think about or find some other production for fabric, because the fabric is just a slow processing piece, and we need to find something else because we've got a lot of wool in there. And at this point, any more wool we put in there, I'm afraid it's not going to be able to chew through it in time. So we pretty much are just selling the wool outright right now, which ideally I'd rather put that into clothes, because clothes make us so much money. But that's more, it's another expense, right? That's going to be a lot more money to be able to accomplish that. So the other thing we could potentially put down, but I've been mentioning this many times, I'm trying to not do it in this series, is Grandma's Knitwear. That is a relatively quicker production, and you can utilize just the wool directly. You get a little bit more if you put the fabric in there, but that's another option, I guess. But I'm going to probably not put it down, although I'd like to. But we'll see. I mean, later on, if this series continues to go much longer than I'm anticipating or expecting it to, we might do it just to help speed things up a little bit. We will see. But at the current time being, I do not have a plan to put that in. I know people have been mentioning it in the comments, but right now I'm not planning to put it in on this series. And we are pretty much done here, gang. So when we're done with this, we can return the harvester here. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and unload this, and we'll return this. Try to get it returned before 11. All right, that is done, so we can go ahead and return that. So let's go over here to our vehicles and return and return. Perfect. All right. So now we gotta head over to our yard here and drop off this into our big massive silo, which I've talked about potentially getting rid of, but I think we really need it right now. Yeah, I think we need it. Let's put it that way. All right, let's unload this in here. And I think I'm going to hold off on putting in the... because we've got plenty of time on that field, right? We've got plenty of time before we're going to be able to put corn in. So I'm going to hold off on actually putting in the oilseed radish there. I assure you we will put it in there. But we're going to mow the grass right now, just to try to make some more money here as soon as we can. So let's just go ahead and drop this off right here for now. And we'll go pick up the mower and everything, and we'll get started here. $16,000. We lost a lot of money from the last episode to this episode. That's due to fees, interest, everything else. The leasing of the harvester itself, right? We lost a lot there. Now, let's do a quick auto-save here. When the time comes for us to sell that canola, we get 50,000 or around that, right? 51,000. And in November, it's going to be somewhere around the $2,124 range. Right now, there's some decent prices out there, but not enough for me to consider selling it. I want it to be at least $2,000 before we sell it, and we're not there. So I'm going to keep an eye on that every episode. Keep me honest if I don't do it for some reason, but I'm going to keep an eye on it every episode, and we're going to attempt to keep it around that 2,000 mark. And whenever it gets to that point, if it's earlier, great. If it's November, it's November. But we're going to attempt to make at least $2,000 per 1,000 liters, because that's going to be a lot of money. That'll be $100,000, right? $100,000, which basically would mean that we paid a significant amount less for that field. That's how I like to look at it. I think I've mentioned that a number of times, but just to repeat. Now, I need to get rid of all these trees here on our yard here. That would be probably beneficial if I was to get rid of most of these trees. We just popped an achievement. Fruits of your labor. Must be mowing so much, or I don't know. Anyway, got an achievement, so that's cool. I haven't looked at any of the achievements in this game. Speaking of achievements, I have not looked at any of the achievements in this game. So I honestly have no clue how to get them all. Maybe we should look at that here in the future and try to accomplish that, but I'm not really specifically playing the game for the achievements, though. I'm just playing the game because I enjoy playing the game and I like doing the challenges. I like coming up with different challenges and running through them. They're fun. All right, well, that windrowing camera work was probably not the best work you've ever seen, and it might have made you a little sick. I apologize. I got to get rid of some of these trees, man. And then the size of the windrower, the trees, everything, it's just, it's hard to maneuver. All the corners and everything back here, it's not like they're, you know, easy corners. They're very sharp, constantly almost. So we either got to get rid of these trees or maybe change the windrower up or do something else. I don't know. But I apologize. I will try to make a mental note moving forward to maybe not do the windrowing on a time-lapse anymore. Maybe I'll even edit some of that out. Future Z, think about editing some of that out potentially. If you watch it and it looks really, really bad, which it might. That or slow down the time-lapse. Maybe I make it just like a 2-time or something. Maybe that will be a little bit better. I don't know. It would be a much longer time-lapse if I did that, but I don't know. Future Z, if you catch this one, if you make a mental note of this when you do the edit, whenever the edit time comes, maybe think about that one, buddy. Anyway, I apologize, and we're underway here picking all the grass up. And we'll drop it directly into our little production there to make some silage out of it. Did I say picking up the silage? I meant picking up grass. I don't know if I said silage or grass, but we're picking up the grass to make it into silage in our production. I love this setup, the just, you know, picking it up off the ground and then shooting it into the trailer. That's really convenient. I like it a lot. The only negative on this is that you cannot utilize silage additives, which would give you a little bit more for your bang for your buck. That's probably the only negative portion of this. Otherwise, I love it. It's really fast because I can, you know, utilize this unrealistic trailer and we can get the whole field done without having to go and unload multiple times. So it's got its perks and its negatives, right? But overall, very, very, very happy that I found this and that it works. So this should be a good amount of money from there. Speaking of that, let's see. Do we have any more silage in there? I don't think so. No. No, we do not. We've run through all of that. I didn't think so, but, you know, you never know, I guess. Why does it say we have canola in here? It must be sharing or something. I don't know. Huh, weird. Anyway. Now, it does chew through this grass pretty quickly and turn it into silage quickly, so more than likely in the next episode we absolutely will be able to sell this. We may even be able to sell some of it today. I'm actually going to go ahead and drop some of it off right now just so we can go ahead and get started on producing some. By some, I mean I'm going to drop all 39,000 liters of it. Doesn't feel like that field that we're mowing there is as big as it is, or at least produces as much grass as it actually does, right? 39,000 liters, and we're not even done picking everything up off the ground. It's a pretty good yield, right? Pretty good yield. Alright, I think we are done with this field, so we can go ahead and turn that off, and we'll go unload the rest in here. Now, I think the generator that I want to put down costs more than 16,000. I'm pretty sure it does. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere around the 24, 25-ish thousand range, something like that. I don't know how much silage we have right now, 2,000 liters. So not really enough that's going to get us to the point where, you know, we're going to be able to get the $24,000. I think it's going to have to chew through most of that grass for us to get to that point. Silage doesn't fluctuate that much. We've talked about silage more times than we can probably count. But it is, right now, technically at one of the lowest points. At 366 is the average best, although the biogas plant, we can sell it for $375 right now, evidently, which is better than what the average best price is. So that's a little odd, but okay. I'll tell you what, we're going to drop the trailer off here for right now. I'm going to go put this away. We'll go ahead and put the application of fertilizer down here. Go ahead and knock this out. See if we can get some more of that grass done. I might actually just turn it on to auto selling. Might. I think I'm going to. Why not? Like I said, silage doesn't really fluctuate that much anyway, so even if we lose a little bit more, it is saving us from having to make the trip and the wear and tear and all that stuff, right? So I think we will. I think we will do that. Once I'm done fertilizing this field, I think we'll go ahead and flip that on. I don't think we will be close to 1,400. Maybe we will. But it's not going to sell until 1,400 no matter what we do, so. We're going to look at a contract today as well. It's going to be probably a longer episode. I've been kind of mentioning we were going to do a contract, and every single episode it seems like we find something else to do, so I'm going to look at the contracts here in a second as well. Alright, that is all done, so let's go ahead and put this away. We'll look at some contracts here while we let the grass silage continue its process. Alright, let's go ahead and turn that off for now. Let's save some gas. Let's see what's out here. Lots of stuff today. Lots and lots of stuff. Bale wrapping, baling, cultivating, dead wood, fertilizing. Okay. That's real close to our field right now. Real close to our land, I should say. That harvesting. Lots of harvesting. Some mowing. We did mowing in the last episode, I think. I don't want to do that again, especially not on 43, 44. Those fields were brutal. Absolutely brutal. So we don't want to do that. Plowing, there's some spraying contracts. Perhaps we do these two spraying contracts, huh? Those are relatively close to each other. And we've got herbicide already up there. We might have to buy another one, but we do have herbicide already up there. And we can use this big massive one, and we only have a $200 reduced. Let's do it. Let's do these spraying ones. Let's borrow items. Oh, we forgot to turn in the mowing one. Whoops. I tend to do that often, don't I? Forgot to turn the mowing one in. Well, that's good. That helps us out a little bit, having that. And then we will accept this contract. We don't need to borrow that one. We've got the other one. Okay, good. So let's run up here. This thing is pretty sweet, man. Look at this thing. I like this thing a lot. I like it a lot. Like the big map, the big GPS and everything on it. It's got an extra seat. This thing's great. I don't know how much this is going to hold. I don't know how much we're going to need for all of this. Yeah, those are actually pretty close to each other. That's not going to take too long to get there. I feel like we're going to need at least one more. I'm going to buy one more, even if it's the wrong thing to do. And used market has a couple of nice things out here, but nothing really. This sprayer is sweet. You have to buy the attachment for it, but the thing is sweet. Not really for us, unfortunately, though. That thing is cool, too. Colors are kind of weird, but okay. We don't need that either. Slurry, we don't need any of this. Although it would be awesome to have it, we don't need any of that. Alright, let's fill up. I was going to say, oh, did I buy the wrong one? I thought it was Helm, but I was getting a little concerned there because I kept hitting the button and it was not filling up. This should be plenty for both of those fields. So the field we're doing is literally right across the street, so we'll do that one first. Put the beacons on, even though we're not going very far. Okay, let's unfold this. This is actually a much larger field than I expected, but the nice thing is this is a massive sprayer. an absolute behemoth of a sprayer. Look at this thing. Thing is massive, dude. It's huge. All right, enough looking at it, enough miring it. Let's get it done, Z. You know what? I should turn on the steering assist here. We want to utilize this the best as we can. Yeah, it's only a couple passes and we're done here. This is nice. This is nice. I need to buy this thing. We need this for our survival challenge or something. This thing is awesome. It's fast. It's got a kind of a crazy turning speed. It turns like on a dime, like super sharp. All right. I don't know, we might need more than what I said we were going to need. We'll see. Let's get to work. Well, that went well. I don't know how I'm going to get this out of here. I am stuck. I got too far over because of the cars, and I drilled the light post. I don't know if you also saw back there was some rendering issues with that car. It was a Byron. Of course it was Byron. Just a parked Byron. But he was shooting out like, I don't know. It was like, I don't even know what you would call it. It was kind of like the thing I shared on my short recently on the Farmlands, where the grass was just like protruding out with like sharp, I don't even know, like lines, I guess. Oh, we finally got it out of there. Whew. I was concerned we were going to have to reset it, which normally, at least in FS22 it did. I don't think it removes the herbicide out of the production if you reset something. Didn't really want to do that. I wanted to save this herbicide. That's why we were heading back up here to the shop so we could save it. It's not a whole lot, but we'll probably do another contract in the, in the near future, and might as well utilize some of the money that we actually spent on it. All right, so that's done, so we can go ahead and return that. Make us a decent amount of money off this. Gets us up to 31,000, which is what we wanted, right? Now I should be able to place down the generator that I want to put. And I want to put this down. It's $24,000, which is what I said I thought it was. And it'll produce us $6,720 a month, which is pretty good. It says it's overlapping something. I think it's just because that tree's there. I'm not really that concerned about the tree. I just need to figure out where I want to put this at. Maybe out here by our yard might be good. Here on the entryway, maybe. Works for me. Let's go look at it. Costs a lot of money, but I mean that's going to pay for itself in a couple of episodes, right? And it's going to help us with the loan because we're losing a lot of money every month because of that loan still. Yeah, that's cool. I think that's a really cool wind generator too. I really do. It just is a little bit too OP for our Farmlands series, so We'll utilize it in this one, though. So with that, we're going to leave the episode here, gang. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. All that stuff helps me out an absolute ton. Thoughts, questions, comments, ideas, let me know down below. As always, thanks so much for watching. Thanks to my 15 members, and I'll see you in the next episode.